Hello, I'm AD. I've done a channel called ADz Bikes primarily for my reintroduction into the world of cycling. I cycled for over 17 years, from the early age in the 1960s through the 70s right into the late 80s, and I only recently gave it up 7 years ago because of my knee. I had some trouble with my right knee, so sadly about 7 years ago I had to give it up and throw everything to the wind because it was just too painful. I had an x-ray and they said, well, if you continue, it could get worse. So I sold all my cycles, all my cycle tools. I had a shed at my old house full of cycles. I did all my own maintenance, I built my own bikes, and over the period of the next few videos on this channel, which I've created purely for my interest in cycling, and I've been watching all the videos which are very entertaining, I thought, well, you know what, I've got quite a bit to share myself. I will put a range of videos which I'll go through some of the cycles I've had. I've got some footage on videotape, but I've got quite a lot of photographs of every single cycle I've ever built, owned, modified, etc. So at the moment, over the past few months, my knee seems to be okay. I borrowed my friend's mountain bike, which was several sizes too small for me, but I raised the saddle so I could get on it and just to see how I coped with the road and cycling again after 7 years. And as time went on, I thought, I need to get my own bike and the right size. So fortunately, my neighbour next door had this giant OCR4 for sale at a very, very cheap price. He just bought himself a form carbon fibre frame, and this was going cheap basically. And he's kept in pretty good clean condition. There's a few nicks on it here and there, but you know what, generally speaking, it was fine. So I thought, for the price, I think I'll buy it. Same height as me, so it's the correct frame size. So I've had to basically relearn a few bits and bobs, but the majority of it is still the same. And you know, how many cars can you bring in your kitchen? Built all my own bikes in the 80s and serviced them, having not ever trusted a shop to do what I want. And it really just paid to, well, it's a bicycle at the end of the day. Most people faff around with the cars at weekends, but they take a cycle into a cycle shop and spend a fortune not necessarily getting it fixed. I mean, this guy next door, he had this serviced twice to find a fault. They still couldn't find it. 70 quid. 70 quid. I found it kind of straight away because it's got a clicking noise on it, which one of the reasons why I sold it. But the clicking actually is the cheap pluggy pedals that will come off at some point, but nothing wrong with it. So we'll see how it goes with the knee. So my right knee, give me some jip. At the moment I've got to be careful, I take it nice and steady, but this thing, you know, is faster than a mountain bike. It climbs hills much better, that's for sure. I've just gave it a bit of a maintenance and set things up the way I want it. Took all the stickers off. There are certain things I take off a bike before I'm sitting in public with it, and one of them is this dreadful chain guard on a bike like this. I'm really surprised they put one on there. Terrible plastic chain guard and this awful chain spoke protector, which there's many that will say, well, you know, you override it or go into your spokes and churn your back wheel up and stuff. You know, if your gears are set right, and there's a limit screw on it anyway. So I never had torque disc on my other bikes. Yeah, I had a few jump onto the cog from here, but normally speaking, when you train up to that gear, you're going slow anyway. So it's not, you're not going to be tanking it. So once it's flopped on there, you just stop pedalling, and if it goes in there, you go off and readjust it. Simple as, really. So I know there's a dork disc thing going on the internet with the forums and stuff, but it's nothing to do with ponciness or snobbery. It's just I don't like them, you know. I just don't like the way they look. One thing hasn't changed over the several years I've not been cycling: the smell of GT85. Oh yeah. So mine's not going to be as professional as some of these. Like these are the GoPros, or they've got a frame mounted camera. So for now, it's ADz Bikes. Check it out.